a book that swept the pinnacle of 20th century literature, praised by Nobel laureates, yet daunting to countless readers. James Joyce's Ulysses compresses Homer's epic journey of 10,000 years into a single day. What magic does it hold? Today, we follow in Dublin's footsteps into this carnival of consciousness and odyssey of life. Chapter 1. Dublin's Ordinary Dawn. On the morning of June 16, 1904, Dublin's dawn begins at the Martello Tower. Stephen Dedalus stands atop the tower, gazing at the sea, his mind echoing his mother's prayers and last night's quarrel. The sound of waves lapping the shore is like ancient bells, awakening the soul of the city. Joyce did not choose this day randomly. It carries the convergence of the ordinary and the extraordinary. The tower stands on Sandy Cove Beach, once a British defense fort, now a temporary home for 3 young men. Stephen, Buck Mulligan, and the Englishman Haynes, their relationship subtle, charged with tension. Stephen is Joyce's self-portrait, young, sensitive, full of rebellion. He rejected his dying mother's plea to pray, rejected the bonds of Catholicism, yet carries guilt deep in his heart. He shares the tower with Buck Mulligan, a medical student with witty banter on his lips, but petty and cold beneath. Mulligan hums a tune while shaving, mocking Stephen's melancholy, "You fellow, like a damned Jesuit." Stephen's inner monologue surges like tides from his mother's green bile to Shakespeare's plays, to Ireland's historical wounds. Joyce debuts the stream of consciousness technique. Stephen's thoughts leap from the sea to Shakespeare, to his mother's green bile, layered like rising and falling waves. This chapter corresponds to the Telemachus episode in Homer's epic. Stephen is the modern Telemachus, seeking a spiritual father, yet lost in Dublin's streets. He teaches, borrows money, ponders history, but is haunted by his mother's ghost. Joyce weaves Latin, Greek, and Irish slang, creating a labyrinth of language. Readers often feel dizzy at first, but that's Joyce's intent. Life isn't linear narrative, but fragmented perception. Stephen goes downstairs for breakfast. Mulligan continues mocking. Haynes talks of Irish folklore. Stephen recalls last night's dream of his mother, drenched in wet clothes, reaching out begging him to pray. He wakes filled with guilt, a shackle that runs through the book. Stephen decides to leave the tower. He asks Mulligan for the key, but is refused. In their quarrel, Stephen declares he won't return. This decision marks his break with the past, yet leaves him more alone. He walks the beach, seeing a midwife's back, his mind conjuring life's cycle, birth, death, rebirth. Joyce inserts rich symbolism, the sea as mother's womb, the tower as father's authority, Stephen as the lost son. For a real example, Irish poet Yeats once said, "Joyce wrote Dublin more truly than anyone." Yeats himself wandered Dublin's streets, feeling the same damp oppression. Stephen's inner monologue mirrors Yeats's early poetry of self-interrogation. Who am I? Where do I come from? Through Stephen, Joyce captures a generation's youthful anxiety. Yeats studied at Trinity College in Dublin, struggling with Irish identity. His poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree calls to his homeland. Stephen's rebellion contrasts Yeats's nationalism, yet both stem from rejecting tradition. Joyce himself lived in the Martello Tower in September 1904, just before eloping with Nora Barnacle. He turned that brief stay into an eternal symbol. Every step Stephen takes is on Dublin's cobblestones, each stone bearing history. Joyce corresponds theology to this chapter, symbolizing the conflict of faith and doubt. Stephen refuses to pray, yet inwardly seeks redemption. This contradiction is the modern dilemma. Stephen walks Sandy Cove Beach, waves wet his shoes. He sees a girl with her two brothers playing. She picks shells, they kick a ball. Stephen's thoughts drift to childhood at Clongowes Beach, when mother was alive, father not yet bankrupt. He teaches at Docky School's private class, students, mostly rich kids, uninterested in his lessons. He lectures on Virgil, but is mocked for his accent. He lends money to a teacher, knowing he owes rent himself. This financial straits deepens his loneliness. He recalls Paris days, meeting Yeats and Synge, but returned for his mother's illness. Back home, everything changed. Ireland's narrowness suffocates him. He wants to write poetry, but is dragged by daily life. A dog chases a ball on the beach. Stephen sees the owner's old woman, linking to his mother's funeral. Her skirt billows like a ghost. Stephen quickens pace, leaving the beach for school. Every step dialogues with the past. Chapter 2. Bloom's breakfast and city wanderings. Leopold Bloom wakes in bed. His wife Molly still sleeps. He goes downstairs to fry a pig's kidney. The scent fills the kitchen. He loves the taste of offal, reminding him of life's primal desires. Bloom is an ad canvasser of Jewish descent, out of place in Catholic Dublin. He is gentle, curious, compassionate, yet often lost in sexual fantasies. The Blooms live at 7 Eccles Street, an ordinary Victorian house. Molly's snores drift from upstairs. Bloom gently prepares her breakfast, knowing her afternoon rendezvous. This chapter corresponds to the Odysseus episode. Bloom is the modern Odysseus, his journey not at sea, but wandering Dublin streets. He goes to the post office for mail a greeting from daughter Millie, to church, observing rites without joining, to the newspaper office pitching ads, meeting odd characters. Joyce records every Bloom thought with delicacy, from kidney taste to a maid's hips to news fragments. At the post office, Bloom uses alias Henry Flower. The letter from Martha Clifford is flirtatious. Reading it, he feels excitement and guilt. This duality runs through his wanderings. Molly, his wife, is a singer, alluring, drifting from him. Bloom knows of her afternoon date, but chooses silence. This forbearance and understanding shine as Bloom's humanity. On the street, he meets old friends, but is stung by anti-Semitic remarks. In a pub, eats a sandwich, pondering life's cycle. Joyce uses organ correspondence this chapter, the kidney, symbolizing desire and excretion. Every time Bloom urinates, it's like releasing inner pressure. At the pharmacy, he buys lotion for Molly, but fantasizes about the clerk's skin. Bloom walks O'Connell Street, eyeing ads, mind-sparking sales ideas. He is an ordinary canvasser with a poet's soul. He watches cloud shapes, linking to women's bodies, smells bread, recalling childhood hunger. Joyce captures these moments in StreamOfConsciousness, letting readers feel Bloom's rich inner world. In real life, Freud in Vienna recorded patients like Bloom, a middle-aged man aware of his wife's infidelity, using fantasy to ease pain. Bloom's monologue echoes Freud's free association, from food to sex, death to rebirth, chaotic yet true. Freud in the interpretation of dreams notes daily trivia hides deep desires. Bloom's kidney breakfast symbolizes such desire. Eating offal, he thinks of the cycle, animals slaughtered, humans eat, death claims all. Joyce corresponds architecture to this chapter, symbolizing Bloom's daily structure. From home to post office, church, newspaper, each step on Dublin's map. Joyce, said he, drew Dublin so precisely, the city could be rebuilt from it if destroyed. Bloom's wanderings animate this map. Passing Phoenix Park, he sees soldiers drilling, linking to Ireland's colonial history. He buys a newspaper, headline on South African War aftermath. He folds it, pockets it, walks on. He meets a blind piano tuner, helps him cross the street. The tuner thanks him. Bloom ponders his own sight if blind, how to live. On the bridge, he watches the Liffey flow, carrying city trash and secrets. He recalls Millie's letter from Mullinger, apprentice photographer, independent life. Millie's growth fills him with pride and loss. He continues to the baths, imagining hot water cleansing. In the bath, he sees his naked body, thinks of aging and death. But he rallies, dresses, resumes canvassing. He meets an acquaintance, discusses weather and politics. The man gripes about taxes. Bloom smiles, inwardly musing fairness. Jewish yet non-religious, he believes in humanity and science. His wanderings thread invisible lines through Dublin's corners. Chapter 3. Meditations on Life and Death at the Funeral. Bloom attends Paddy Dignam's funeral. The carriage sways through Dublin. In it, Stephen's father, Simon, editor, Miles, others. Joyce captures each mind and stream of consciousness. Simon gripes wine prices, Miles mauls headlines, Bloom links coffin to Egyptian mummies, to son Rudy. The carriage passes landmarks, from Eccles Street to Glasnevin Cemetery, bumpy ride. Rudy died 11 years ago, Bloom's lifelong pain. He imagines Rudy alive, perhaps as clever as Stephen. At the graveside, priest's prayers weave with Bloom's monologue on death, body decays, soul wear. Joyce corresponds heart to this chapter, symbolizing emotion and life's pump. Bloom eyes Dignam's coffin, recalls father's suicide, Rudy's early death heart-wrenching. After, Bloom to the newspaper office, pitches ads. He meets lawyer Gordy Little, discusses politics and law. Joyce inserts Dublin dialect and history, bewildering readers. But that's genius, death not end, but part of life's cycle. At the office, Bloom sees an ad, thinks of Dignam's widow's life. He decides anonymous aid kindness throughout the book. Bloom's thoughts leap from funeral to headlines, to Ireland's politics. He thinks of Parnell, fighter for independence, felled by affair. Bloom sympathizes, facing similar marital crisis. Joyce uses newspaper fragmentation to mirror Bloom's mind. Painter Edvard Munch's The Scream captures modern existential dread. Bloom's cemetery fear echoes Munch's twisted face. Through Bloom, Joyce writes universal fear and acceptance of death. Munch in Oslo Diaries wrote death's shadow always over him. Bloom sees gravediggers, thinks his body will rot, fear makes him cherish now. Joyce metaphors navigation here, carriage like Odysseus' ship crossing Death's Sea. Post-funeral, Bloom wanders, bank for money, museum for goddess statues, each step death-life meditation. At bank, depositing, recalls father's modest insurance legacy. He withdraws pounds, plans lottery ticket, knows gambling futile, but fantasizes winning life. At museum, before Venus statue, admires curves, thinks of Molly's body. Stone cold, Molly warm, recalls Rudy's photo, child in dress, girl like cute. Rudy's death halted sex life years until Millie born. He blames self, yet understands grief's natural response. Leaves museum, park walk, sees lovers kiss, jealousy stirs. Sits bench, eats banana, peels to bin but wind blows away. Chases peel like lost youth. Thoughts leap death to rebirth, past to future. Dublin bells ring noon past. Chapter 4. The Labyrinth of Knowledge in the Library. Stephen enters the National Library, debates Shakespeare with scholars. He proposes bold theory: Shakespeare is the ghost in Hamlet, and Hathaway, the queen, his brothers the clowns. Stephen's speech: a stream of consciousness cascade from Shakespeare's life to Dublin streets, to his own father. Library air thick with old books, scholars circle, argue fiercely. This chapter corresponds to the Sirens episode. Knowledge's lure like Siren's song, Stephen immersed, yet lost. Bloom also enters library, researches ad designs. He and Stephen pass without meeting, but fate's threads weave. Joyce corresponds lungs here, symbolizing breath and language flow. Stephen's speech spans pages, quotes and links from Aristotle to St. Thomas Aquinas to Irish myth. His theory bold yet insightful. He sees Shakespeare's betrayal shaping Hamlet's tragedy. This autobiographical reading echoes Joyce, Nora as Molly, Dublin as Cosmos. Stephen notes Shakespeare's son Hamlet's early death, linking to his mother. Knowledge his refuge, yet deepens isolation. Bloom flips old papers for ad inspiration. Sees Jewish report, inner ripple. Dublin outsider, armed with knowledge. Joyce uses shelves as knowledge maze. Readers, follow Stephen's speech into this maze, new discovery each turn. Real critic Harold Bloom praised Joyce's Shakespeare theory, opening modern biographical criticism. Stephen's speech, like Harold Bloom's passionate Yale lectures. Harold Bloom in the Western canon calls Shakespeare literature's center, Joyce modern air. Stephen's theory extravagant, yet reveals creator work deep link. Joyce metaphors mechanics here. Knowledge machine runs, may derail. Speech ends. Scholars silent. Stephen knows isolation. This foreshadows Bloom meeting. Stephen leaves library. Sunlight glares. On Kildare Street, meets friend Vincent Lynch. Discuss poetry. Lynch mocks theory too arcane. Stephen defends art as autobiography. They part. Stephen walks, recalls Schopenhauer world representation, will essence. His will drives creation, poverty binds. To bookstore, browses mysticism tome, links to mother's superstition. Can't afford, notes title, knowledge thirst unquenched. On street, sees poster for Molly's concert Boylan organizer, complex feelings. Barely knows Molly, linked via Bloom, fate's web spun. Chapter 5. Street lunch and surging desires. Midday. Bloom lunches at Burton Hotel. Smoke-filled. Diners gorge rudely. Bloom recoils, turns to Davy Byrne's pub for cheese sandwich. Watches window, clouds, ponders weather and fate. Pub serves gorgonzola and mustard. Bloom savors, mind to Molly's smile. This chapter corresponds to the cannibals episode. Bloom's desires primitive as cannibals, fantasizes women's bodies yet restrains. On street, meets lame sailor, hears overseas tales, gives to beggar, full of pity. Joyce corresponds stomach here, symbolizing digestion and desire transformation. Eating sandwich, Bloom thinks food origins, cows, grapes, mustard seeds all from earth. Sexual fantasies peak, imagines girl dirty, restrains in reality. This inner conflict shows Bloom's human depth, no hero, yet more real. By Liffey, watches gulls, tosses breadcrumbs. Gulls' cries recall Molly's voice desire and love entwine. To pharmacy for soap, young clerk, fantasizes skin, buys and leaves. Each restrain a victory for humanity. Joyce uses street noise to foil Bloom's inner calm. Psychologist Jung's shadow theory, everyone represses desires. Bloom's fantasies, shadow projection. Joyce via Bloom writes modern psychic split. Jung in Zurich treated similar, businessman haunts wife's infidelity, fantasy sustains marriage. Bloom's lunch microcosm of this split. Joyce corresponds chemistry here, desires chemical reaction boiling yet controlled. Wanderings continue. Museum goddess statues curve him, recall Molly's betrayal. Chapter 6. Pub revelry and interwoven hallucinations. Afternoon. Bloom to Ormond Bar. Piano melodies. Waitresses Lydia and Mina flirt. Bloom, writes Martha, full of ambiguity. Observes everyone. Thoughts rise like music. Bar on Ormond Quay. River flows outside. Piano and water blend. This chapter extends sirens. Music's temptation like sirens. Bloom entranced, yet lucid. Joyce corresponds ears here, symbolizing hearing and emotional resonance. Stephen's father Simon sings in bar, voice hauntingly beautiful. Bloom recalls Molly's concerts, jealousy and love surge. Leaves bar to maternity hospital, visit friend Mina Purefoy. Hospital. Mina in labor. Bloom waits outside, ponders birth. Corridor. Medical students debate. Bloom joins from birth to politics, religion. Mina's labor cries from delivery room. Bloom to Rudy's birth and death. Life cycle again. Birth, pain, death, rebirth. Joyce structures with music rhythm, each section a movement. Bloom meets Stephen's friends at hospital, not yet Stephen. Fate tightens. Joyce inserts lyrics and melodies. Readers hear Dublin sounds. Real composer Wagner's Tristan und Isolde enraptured audiences. Bloom's bar feeling mirrors Wagner opera passion. Joyce, via music writes human emotion extreme. Wagner conducting in Bayreuth made audiences weep. Bloom hearing Simon sing Martha tears up. Joyce metaphors blood here. Music flows like blood, connecting hearts. Bloom leaves hospital dusk. Tales. Stephen, worries for the youth. Chapter 7. Nighttown's return and soul's convergence. Night falls. Dublin's Nighttown lit bright. Stephen carouses with medical students in pub, debates art and science. Bloom follows Stephen, fears drunken mishap. They meet at last in brothel. Stephen hallucinates, sees mother's ghost. Nighttown, Dublin's dark side, prostitutes, drunks, sailors swarm streets. This chapter corresponds to the cattle episode. Violence and chaos surge like cattle. Stephen beaten by soldier, Bloom rescues. They to cabman's shelter. Bloom invites Stephen home. Joyce corresponds skeleton here, symbolizing structure and support. Brothel Madame Bella Cohen dominates, whips fantasied men. Stephen hallucinates mother scolding. In shelter, they talk science and art. Bloom makes cocoa, Stephen drinks. Father-son closeness, yet distance. Stephen refuses overnight, leaves singing Hebrew melody. Bloom watches him go, emotions complex. Bloom home, lies beside Molly head to foot, symbolizing inverted marriage. Joyce structures dramatically, brothel like Shakespeare stage, roles rotate. Bloom's rescue like Odysseus saving son. They discuss Parnell, Jews, Irish history topics from astronomy to philosophy, all-encompassing. Epilogue, Molly's monologue and affirmation of life. Early morning, Molly in bed, thoughts surge like tides. Recalls first meeting Bloom under Gibraltar sun, passionate kiss. Thinks of afternoon Trieste Boylan's roughness, Bloom's tenderness. She affirms life, ending the book. Molly's monologue, pages long, no punctuation, symbolizing consciousness's endless flow. This chapter corresponds to Penelope. Molly modern Penelope, monologue punctuation free, consciousness infinite. Joyce corresponds flesh here, symbolizing desire and life's root. Molly leaps childhood to youth, to marriage each memory sensory, Gibraltar breeze, Bloom's kiss, Boylan's embrace. Molly's monologue, the book's climax, from memory to fantasy to affirmation. She says yes, affirms love, sex, life. This affirmation echoes Bloom's forbearance, Stephen's rebellion. Molly thinks Millie's growth, own aging, yet loves life. She is Dublin's mother, embracing all. Feminist Simone de Beauvoir in The Second Sex explores women's desire and freedom. Molly's monologue, women's consciousness awakening. Joyce via Molly writes primal human vitality. Beauvoir in Paris Cafés discussed women's subjectivity with Sartre. Molly's yes declares such subjectivity. Joyce metaphors universe here, Molly's thoughts vast as galaxy. She affirms Bloom's return, life's cycle. Book ends with yes, eternal affirmation. Molly's yes echoes night sky like a star, lighting Dublin's dark. She affirms Bloom's return, Boylan's passion, life's transience and beauty. Her thoughts from Gibraltar rock to Dublin bed, girl's innocence to woman's maturity. She is Earth Mother, embracing sin and virtue. Joyce, with her monologue, ends the day's journey, opens infinite possibilities. Reader's close book, journey just begins. Conclusion, Ulysses is eternal wandering. Ulysses is not an easy book, yet unforgettable once read. In one day, it captures all human joy and sorrow. With StreamOfConsciousness, it shatters traditional narrative. With Dublin streets, it maps the universe. Joyce compresses Homer's epic to 18 hours, expands to infinite inner world. Joyce said writing took 7 years. He hoped readers spend a lifetime. Indeed, each rereading reveals new details, emotions, philosophies. Bloom's kindness, Stephen's rebellion, Molly's affirmation, humanity's three primaries. Bloom walks Dublin streets, each step on history's dust. Stephen's speeches echo in knowledge halls. Molly's monologue, each yes ignites life's spark. In 20th century literature, Ulysses is a monument. It influenced Woolf, Faulkner, Beckett, countless writers. It proves novel can be poetic in precision, musical in flow, philosophical in depth. Woolf in Mrs. Dalloway borrowed stream of consciousness, Faulkner in the sound and the fury expanded perspectives, Beckett in Waiting for Godot stripped language. But Joyce is the source. His experiments open modernism's gate. Today, we retrace Dublin streets, Bloom's footsteps. We find Ulysses's journey never ends. In every reader's heart, it wanders on, affirms on, yes on. Dublin bells still chime, Liffey waters flow, human consciousness surges. Joyce, with one novel, captured eternity.